Bit of a different review today. Motorbikes. This one's a ROKON made in America. So I was lucky enough about 3 years ago, 2016, a chap up in Queensland started to bring in a few ROKONs, and I jumped on it straight away. They're a great bit of kit. I've looked at these for quite a few years and always dreamt about a two-wheel drive motorbike, and this is the one. So it's still all handmade in America. They're really robust, tough. I've always had an infatuation with motorbikes ever since I was a kid. I've had p.o.v 50s, mini bikes, you know, XRs, all the way up to ag bikes when we load all our stuff up and head away for the weekend. And this just takes it to the next level. The biggest drawback with a lot of the single drive is especially hill climbs, and once they're laden, you know, they just spin. So this thing doesn't get you anywhere fast, but and it's a little bit bouncy as well, but it really can go anywhere. And we'll give you a little walkthrough, and we'll do a review on this one. In 1958, Charles Fenn invented and produced the first ROKON trailbreaker. To this day, they're still made in the USA, originating in California. So the ROKON's a true marvel of engineering. Ever since a kid, I've always been right into my bikes, and I've always wondered, why don't they make a two-wheel drive motorbike? And this is it. It's pretty amazing how they've got the power to the front wheel. So I'll just kind of go through it a little bit. The motor is very much like a lawnmower motor. It's a fixed motor. It just basically drives to a miter box. So you've got a straight shaft here that goes up to, it's effectively a uni joint. There is a clutch inside this, so it's not always getting the same amount of power through the turns. It'll regulate the amount of power that goes down the drive wheel so it doesn't just take off on you around the corners, which works absolutely perfectly. So when you give it power, it powers to this miter box here, and on the other side you've got a chain that drives down to the wheel. It keeps everything up and out of the mud and the slush. Your braking is on the same thing, so when you brake, it actually brakes this miter box, which brakes everything back to the engine. So you can see on this side is where the business happens. You've got your vertical chain coming down, and a second chain around here for your drive. You can see the rear drive is pretty similar to the front. It's just one chain. It goes from your drive wheel up to the miter box at the rear here, and again keeping everything up and out of the slush and the mud. So the trailbreaker is a dual start, so it's 12-volt magneto as well as the pull start. Now I use the pull start a lot because my battery's always going flat, so it does get you out of trouble. And all bikes come with some spare parts, so you get an extra pull cord in there and a few other bits and bobs, which makes it very reliable. So here in Victoria, I was able to get a rec reg on this bike. It's got full turn signals, high and low beam, horn, standard configuration. Did come with mirrors when I bought it. You've got your indicators, all 12-volt. And on the right-hand side, it's a standard configuration, obviously accelerator, kill switch, and your right and your left hand brakes are both brakes, so you don't have a clutch up here. Good old steel tank. So this tank holds about 10 litres, and you're never going to dent this one. Pretty straightforward, standard issue fuel cock there. Obviously that's off, and fuel down is on. So you've got your fuel shut off here with your cold start choke, and the air filter just above that. Brakes on the ROKON are exceptional. You do have a little bit of engine braking, but the brakes are disc brakes, and they're braked from a miter box up top, which actually brakes the drive to the wheel and puts a bit of back pressure onto the engine. So you'll see me going down this hill here, it is absolutely exceptional braking. So the ROKONs are really good on steep terrain. I've used ATVs a lot, or 4x4s, four-wheelers, whatever you want to call them. And they're very tippy, so they can be quite dangerous on contouring lines. You have to be quite wary of that. The advantage of the ROKON is on steep contours, you can just put your uphill leg out, and it's really as steep as you want to go. There's nothing too steep for this bike. It's pretty amazing where you will be able to get it. So one thing around the farm growing up, it was always a problem putting your kickstand down on a bike. If you found some soft ground, they'd always dig in, but ROKON have done a pretty good thing. They've put a nice, really oversized plate down on there, so even on the soft ground like I'm on, it's always going to get a nice bite. So one good thing about having such a big, over-engineered, if you like, stand, it's really robust and it can support the whole weight of the bike. So because like here I'm on a really tight trail, if I need to spin around, it makes it very handy for spinning around on a single track. And now I can load up the bike and head back out. Another feature I really love, ROKON have put a slide design under the belly of the bike. So you can slide up and over things like logs, and plenty of times I've been out on the trails and there's been logs across the track, and even quite tall ones, and it's no problems. Even the peg design allows the peg to flip up and out of the way, allowing the bike just to slide along. So I'll give you a demonstration. There's just a log in the paddock here, and the way I like to do is put the front wheel up. The front wheel will grab, let it go over, then put your feet on the log and just push the bike forward and it'll rock and roll up and over the log. It's pretty straightforward. Another thing I like about the ROKON is it suits the vertically challenged quite well. You can see compared to a normal bike, I mean this is quite a large bike, but the seat height on the ROKON is really low. In fact, even a shorty like me, it's stationary, both feet flat on the ground. So I mean, when you're riding, you generally got your feet on the pegs, but certainly once you get up into the hills and on angles and contouring, I do use my legs a lot and just putt along slowly, so that's really handy. A lot of the times with other bikes that I've tried, that was kind of where I'd often fall off, especially putting your foot down and not being able to touch the ground and you're over. Once this is loaded up and you're quite top heavy, that really comes into play. So there's no shortage of mounting points on the trail breaker. Starting right up the front, you've got an oversized basket up there. I've had tubs and full bags on there. It can hold a fair bit of weight. All the mounting points are really sturdy as well. So there's threads and pipes. I've got my action camera mount here. You can see I've put my rifle mount up on the front there. Right down there's an oversized tray at the back on this one, and I've had 2 people, all the equipment for 8 or 9 days, and then we've headed off on this and it's been absolutely fine. This one's got the upgraded tow hitch as well, and it can carry and pull quite a bit. I've pulled out quite large logs out of the forest, and it doesn't struggle at all. It's been really torquey. It's good. For the guys that are familiar with hydrostatic clutches, not dissimilar to ride on lawnmowers and things like that, you select your gear and then you just accelerate and go. There's no kind of clutch up on your handlebar like you used to for the motorbike riders. So gear selection, it's a little bit odd, but it is down here on the side. Basically, you select your gear before you set off when you're stationary, and then you leave it set to that and pick the appropriate one for the terrain. So this is the 3-speed. So all the way out is gear 1, which is your torquiest. That's a neutral there. In the center, you have to rock the bike a little bit. Here's gear number 2 to neutral, and then lastly all the way in is your top gear, number 3. Your top gear, you'll get average about 50 kilometers per hour. It's not the kind of bike that you need to go anywhere real fast, and it's more at home sitting in kind of 1st or 2nd gear, more doing around the 30 kilometer mark. Once you've gotten used to riding the ROKON, you begin to take a lot more unconventional line that you would on a traditional motorbike. You'll start to see things differently, and the ability of this bike is just amazing. They do get stuck from time to time, but as you can see here, they're quite easy to recover. Having the front and rear drive helping you out, just give them a bit of a push and out they go. Well guys, I've had a lot of fun doing this review for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more on the ROKON motorbikes, head over to the ROKON website in America. They're a bit hard to find here in Australia now, but hopefully in years to come we see a few more of them getting around on the trails. I'll leave you with a bit of footage that we had a heap of fun making, and until next time guys, stay safe out there, happy hunting, hooroo.